Pete Zupan, since college, has been involved in secular student groups and is now a campus organizer for the Secular Student Alliance. He has a passion for making sure students have a valuable secular community on campus, and funny enough is why he is here to talk today about why church works. Please welcome Pete Zupan.
Hi there. Everyone can hear me? Yes? Good. If you are live tweeting this or just want to tell me how wrong I am on Twitter, you can do that at Dogs Not Gods. The hashtag, make sure you use is Freethought5. So, like Nicole said, I am a campus organizer with the National Secular Student Alliance. I'm not a student. I'm a young professional. I'm an adult, just like you guys. Pay my taxes, do 9 to 5, eat ice cream for breakfast, just like adults. Our organization is all about groups, student groups. Helping them form, helping them stay alive, crying when they die. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today, how to make your group better. So why is my thing called Why Church Works? Well, for one tiny bitty reason. It just does. You guys don't have to be religious, you don't have to like religion, but you do have to respect this is an institution that has figured its shit out. Their entanglement with the government can't always be explained for why they're so popular or why they're able to survive so well. The answer to the other stuff is because they have developed over the hundreds of years a set of tools that work, and they work every time and they work very well. We have to learn how to utilize those tools to make the secular movement as a whole better. So how are they successful? What are the things that they're doing? Why? They're able to utilize the sense of community. This is the #1 reason we hear from non-religious people, even if they're still in a church, for why they don't want to leave. All of their family is there, all of their friends are there, their stuff is there. As soon as they don the label of atheist, they lose that entire support structure. It's an indispensable part of their life, and we have to create that too. They actively participate in advocacy to express their values. People are going to these brick-and-mortar buildings once a week, every week, learning about what they should be scared of, and a person telling them what they should be doing to combat that stuff. The most visible example of this is probably those protesters outside of Planned Parenthood. There's a reason why politicians pander to the religious, because they are a very strong and very active group. They engage in service to their community. They create indispensable services to their community. We all know about these things. Homeless shelters, prison reform programs, Alcoholics Anonymous, hospitals. Sometimes they're the only people in these communities that are offering these benefits. So we have to start to get into that game too. They're always trying to educate people about what their beliefs are and who they are. We all know about this stuff too. It's the door-to-door. It's the chick tracks on highway bathrooms. It's even stuff like I saw people handing out pamphlets at my dog park because nothing's sacred. Essentially, your group needs to be more like church. And I know a bunch of you guys are thinking, like, well, if atheism becomes more like church, now it's religion, and we don't want that. We need to nip that in the bud right now. I'm going to put some words up here, I'm going to say them, and I want all of you guys to say them. Ready? It's not religion, it's marketing. Say it one time with me. It's not religion, it's marketing. I'm not a business major, I did not major in advertising, but I have seen 1.5 seasons of Mad Men to know that things that work every time. What matters is the kind of frame of mind that we put into it, what we're trying to get out of it. So think of it this way. Do we not watch reality TV shows because Ghost Hunters had a reality TV show? Are reality TV shows too paranormal? No, it's just a reality TV show. As long as we keep this frame of mind that we can't utilize these tools because religion has been doing them first, we give them a monopoly on these tools. For example, meditation and reflection. Prayer works. Not in the sense that God is answering anyone's wishes, but in the sense that it gives people a time to figure out what they need to do. They can start to process events. This is hard science, and yet we won't touch it with a 10-foot pole if it looks like we're trying to align our chakras. Holidays and traditions. There are some atheists who will not celebrate holidays because they have Christian roots. Newsflash. A lot of these holidays are actually Christian appropriations of pagan ones. So why can't we do the same? Why don't we take the meaningful parts of those holidays and utilize them for our own purposes, or better yet, form our own? Rituals. These are shared experiences that anyone can do for certain special occasions, and everyone knows the meaning of them. Churches are really good at doing these things with coming of age rituals. So bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, baptisms, confirmation. These are things that create life experiences and can provide landmarks for our life. So we have to use them, and we can't always think that ritual means a bunch of people in a circle sacrificing a virgin. Fundraising. A lot of groups are scared to put out a simple donation jar or ask for dues because it's too much like tithing. How is it too much to ask that people give a little bit back? It doesn't have to be a lot, certainly not 10%, but just enough so that maybe at the end of the year you can have a pizza party or bring in a speaker, stuff like that. People need to invest in it. The list goes on and on and on. So we have to change this frame of mind. As we go forward and look at the specific things, you're going to notice 3 particular trends that churches are very good at utilizing. First one, feelings. A lot of us like to say, well, I use logic and reason to decide everything. Do you though? You probably use a good amount of empiricism to back up whatever belief sets you have, but really, a lot of stuff still happens here, in your large intestine. Think of it this way. How many of you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys saw the Star Wars Episode 7 trailer and got really super excited for the movie? Show of hands. Okay, why? Well, I like to look at exoplanets and examine alien cultures. No, it was because when the Millennium Falcon was like, it was like, the TIE fighters came out. It brought all these feelings back. It got you so excited when you were playing with the Millennium Falcon toy, seeing it, hearing that music again. Churches are really good at utilizing those kind of feelings. If I had been raised evangelical, I'd probably still be in religion because they don't just make you want to say amen. They want to make you say, amen! Promotion. A lot of atheists confuse this with proselytization when it's exactly the opposite. Promotion just means that you're getting yourself out there. You're letting people know that you exist, what you're doing, what your beliefs are. So we have to use this, and we have to do it every single time you do something, whether it's just a simple meeting or a big, large event. And active, always be closing. What was that speech about that they gave in Glengarry Glen Ross? He said, I can make $10,000 tonight using the same tools that you have. We have to pursue these things with intent. They are usable tools, but we have to use them, and we have to do them all the time. It's not enough to just have one special event a year. We have to try to be doing it all the time. So, specific things that we can start to do. How to form a community. What makes a good community? It fosters a feeling of acceptance, belonging, and support. So, this means these are the group of people who you can go to when someone dies. If you're in financial need, they're going to pick you up. If someone dies, they're going to be there to support you. Did I say that already? It validates identity. So maybe someone doesn't use the word atheist to the exact 100% dictionary definition. That's okay. A lot of people are just trying to figure out what they believe in. So if they use that kind of stuff, educate them, but don't argue with them. It increases in personal investment in the group and its longevity. It's especially important for you secular students watching on YouTube. Groups need to be able to live. Our secular student groups usually only last about 4 years because we need people to keep it going. So the more that you're able to increase that sense of meaning and purpose and specialness, and it's not just the thing that you do every Tuesday, that's going to keep your group going. So how do you not form a community? You do not always go drinking at a pub. A lot of groups make this their default thing, and it's terrible. It's boring, it's expensive after a while, you can really only talk to the person here, here, and here. Okay? Do other things. Forming a clique. So it's good for us to have friends, it's good for us to create friends in our groups. But are you only inviting the same 5 people to the same event? Is it only the 5 people showing up to these things? That's not a community group, that's just your circle of friends. Community groups have to be more than that. You have to be bringing in people all the time. And people need to be able to feel like they have access to the group all the time. Internal bickering. This is something that happens all the time. You want to know the #1 reason for why groups stop working? Arguing about the name. I want to have atheist in it. Well, atheist is just... No. Figure out the hills that are worth dying on. A lot of them are just not worth it. For God's sake, don't always drink at a pub. Go out and do stuff. So some of the good ways that you actually can form a community. Form one or join one. There's probably an atheist community somewhere nearby, and if there isn't, you should start one. You'd be surprised at how many only atheists in the village there actually are. When you do that, you have to be an active leader. This doesn't just mean the person who gets to soak in all the spotlight. It means the person who's going to do all the boring stuff, filling out forms, taking care of problems, and making sure that there are things happening all the time in meat space. What is meat space? This is meat space. I can see your skin. Thank you for laughing. We actually have to be congregating and meeting up outside of the internet. And we can't just talk when we do these things. Discussion meetings are good, and we're going to see that there's a place for them. But we have to go out and, do some of that stuff. At the same time, we do have to make sure that we have an active online presence. So these are things like meetup.com, a Facebook page, and a Facebook group. Until we get those brick and mortar buildings on every street corner, that's how people are going to find us. And we have to do interfaith and intersectional outreach. But my group is an open space, anyone can come. No! That does not work, and there are people who are more qualified than me to tell you why that doesn't work. The point is that we have to go into these guys' spaces and invite them to attend our stuff. We have to show them that we are an open and welcoming community, and that we share certain values, and that we can work together. Advocacy uses our shared values to form a better present and future world. How many of you guys have more than one opinion? Everyone? Okay, good. A lot of those are probably informed by your secular identity, so we have to work on them. Atheism, turns out, is not just about not believing in God. There are tons of other things associated with it. It amplifies the voice of those that can't be open. A lot of people who are in legitimately dangerous areas, if they were to say that they were an atheist. So when we stand up, when we're the ones who decide that we can be open, we provide a sense of ability for those people to be secure, whether it's doing lobbying, raising awareness of certain issues, etc. And it's one of the few forces fighting the religious right. FFRF is at the forefront of that kind of stuff. But usually, when these issues come up, these religious issues, it's usually us making us think about it. So what isn't advocacy? Sharing an article online with a speech. This is really easy for us to do. Find something that pisses us off, we tell our circle of friends that it pisses us off. But if it stops there, what have you really changed? Not really much of anything, especially if you live in an echo chamber. When you say someone should, if you say someone should, the person that probably should be doing that is you or your group. We don't have an atheist messiah who's going to come and save the day for us, so we have to take charge of our own destinies. Just presidential elections. Probably most of you guys know who you want to vote for or who you definitely do not want to be in office right now. But in the grand scheme of things, presidents don't do stuff that mixes with your day-to-day life too much, and certainly they do. But we have to think about more than just what's going to happen on the national level. Coney 2012. Yeah, some of you guys know what that is. That was a disaster. It's when we have these campaigns that are like really, really active for a very short amount of time, and after 2 weeks, no one is talking about them. We have to figure out what causes we actually want to stand for and just keep that traction going. We can't just latch onto stuff and then be done after we change our Facebook profile. So what is good advocacy? It is paying attention to local politics. The stuff that is going to affect you on the day-to-day is happening at the board city councils, at the school boards, during the local elections, figuring out what those politicians are talking about. So we have to pay attention to that. Is lobbying on issues outside of separation of church and state. You know, this has kind of become our calling card, but again, back to our shared values, there's probably a lot more that you stand for, that you support. So we as an organization have to start pursuing those kind of things and working with others to make them happen. Protesting, not always with signs. So this is stuff like inundating your council with prayer requests, telling people that you're boycotting a business. You know, things with signs get a lot of good press, and they're good to do, and you totally should do them. But if that's your only idea of a protest, then you need to be thinking outside the box. And we have to do interfaith and intersectional outreach. Again, people probably support a lot of the same issues that we do, so we need to work with them. One of the most powerful examples that I've heard about in the last year since the Greece decision was a coalition of Muslims, pagans, Buddhists, and atheists inundating their city council with prayer requests. And guess what got taken off the docket after that? Service. This is one of the most important things that we have to do, and yet so often our groups don't do them because it shows our values in action to the community. How many of you guys have said you're good without God? And how many of you guys have backed that up with actually doing something? Thank you. It's a chance to build bonds beyond our opinions. When you're asking someone for a hammer, you don't care what political aisle is, you just need that hammer. When we have a chance to work together with people, then we can see them as human beings and not just the libertarian, the Democrat, the Republican. And it's a fantastic promotional opportunity. As long as we remain this kind of small, you know, what's the word? Yeah, unique. That's a good word. The media is going to lick up anything that we have to say that we're going to go out and do. And that's a great opportunity for other people who don't know about your organization or for the religious to see that we are here and we are doing a lot of good. So what isn't service? $5 monthly giving. You should absolutely support national organizations. Cough. But if that's where the buck stops, there's a lot more that we can do. If you're pressed for time, doing stuff like donating blood or walking dogs at the local shelter, great things that you can do for a very limited amount of time. Facebook profile pic filter. When this happened with Paris, everyone did it, but what did you do after that? Did you donate money to the Red Cross? Anyone? Okay. And it cannot just benefit your group. We have to do stuff for others. When you go up to someone with a donation jar and you say, we want to have a pizza party, probably a lot of people aren't going to go for that. But like Nicole's group is doing, they're raising money for a women's shelter. That's something that a lot more people can get behind, and you can still say, here we are, here we're doing good, this is the thing that we So what is good service? It is getting sweaty and it is getting messy. A lot of service is building stuff or repairing stuff. So this is like highway cleaners, river cleaners, building houses, volunteering at food pantries. Is putting yourself out there. We have to let people know that we're here and that we exist. It sounds a little selfish, I know, but that's how people see that atheists are here and that atheists are doing a lot of good in their local community. There's fundraising for someone else, like I just said. People can get behind supporting a shared cause more than they can probably get behind supporting just you. And sometimes it is online. So again, like with the profile pic, if you had information about action items, if you had information about action items, like here's where you go to donate, here's where you go to drop off emergency supplies, here's some people that you can help house after this natural disaster. That's important stuff to share online. And it's interfaith and intersectional outreach. The more that we do this outside of the bubble, that we're doing it with other community groups, that we're doing it with religious groups, it's the more that we can get to know all of them on a mutual level. They can see that we're good. We can see that they're good. It dispels myths on both sides of the aisle. And education. And this is where I'm going to sound like a big, giant hypocrite, because I've been shitting on it all the time. Scientist Will Gervais found in a series of studies that perceived prevalence of atheists reduced anti-atheist stigma. So what does that tongue twister mean? It means that when we think that our grocery, that our cops, that our doctors could be atheists, that we hate them less, because it seems like they're actual people. So getting the word that you're here in the community is really, really important to reducing that atheist stigma. We can bring awareness to important topics. The first time that I ever learned about anti-vaccination or homeopathy was in my group. So it's good to talk about these things and bring them up. But again, we have to do it outside of a bubble. We have to tell other people about the importance of these things. And it facilitates discussions within the community. So when we have these kind of co-organized debates, that's probably the first time when people are going to hear the other side of the argument. Get together, we can figure out where we are together, and then leave the stuff where we're divided apart. So what isn't education? Sharing an article online to an echo chamber. Again, if you have a really strong opinion, but the only people you're telling are people that agree with you, you have educated no one. And again, doing just anything in an echo chamber doesn't do anyone a lot of good. At the same time, that doesn't mean that you go busting down a church's door and say, God is dead! That is the worst thing that you could possibly do. So good education actually is sharing an article online. If you have not just your opinion, but facts from the article, or action items, that kind of stuff, that's stuff that people can learn from and people can actually share with others. And even if you have a bunch of people who disagree, at least they learned something more than just your opinion about it. It is facilitating group discussions. Again, these are times when we can actually learn about things that we weren't very well educated about before, like all the kind of skeptical stuff, and it can go beyond just the God question. It's having a co-organized debate. So it can be easy to think that debates are just a bunch of useless time wasters because people go in with the same opinion and people leave with the same opinion. But this might be the first time that someone has actually heard an honest portrayal of a certain argument presented by someone of that faith, or lack thereof. So Dan Barker has these all the time, and he shares this same kind of opinion. Because the person at least heard it. They'll go home, maybe they won't think about that tonight, maybe they didn't deconvert to atheism, they'll think about it, maybe they'll think about it some more, a little bit more. We also have to bring in speakers. So the SSA has a speaker bureau to help bring speakers from around the nation. These are people who probably know way more than you do or what you could learn by reading Wikipedia. But when we bring in these speakers, we have to let lots of people know. We have to tell them that we are doing this event, that you could probably learn something or participate in the discussion. Ask an Atheist tables are also really popular for our groups to do. They set up a table in a public space. This is an opportunity for people to have a real discussion with an actual atheist, meet them face to face. Another good place for community groups especially to do this is fairs in your local area. So I used to go to a thing called Boulder Creek Fest. Yeah. What's the thing that I'm going to say next? Anyone? There you go. Interfaith, intersectional outreach. The more that we can get our communities to work together, the better that we can actually start to understand each other, and they can start to understand us, especially. Because we're the ones who have the most stigma usually caused by them. So let's review. No matter what you do, utilize feelings, feelings, feelings. It's so important to utilize feelings, not use them, to utilize, to reach the person on a personal level. We are not just a bunch of Vulcans, we are the Uharas, we are Kurds, we are McCoys. Promote, promote, promote. Say everything that you're doing all the time. Whether that's on social media, whether that's to face-to-face outreach, or whether that's to a local meeting. You have to be talking about your group all the time. You start a group, be a group, or join a group. We have to do this together. If we're just staying at our computer and that's our doing atheism, we're not doing a whole lot. But when we come together, when we work together, and when we form an actual demographic, that's the stuff that's going to create change. That's the kind of stuff that the Reason Rally is about. And that's when we can start to really affect the political outcome. And maybe atheists will finally have a voice on the state and local level. And lastly, as my Executive Director, August Brunsman, says after staff meetings, go forth and do awesome. My name is Pete Zupan. I work for that organization. That's my email. That's our website. And we're on those things. Thank you very much.